Welcome back, friends. We have a lot to fit in this episode. We did 2 national parks, Capitol Reef and Bryce Canyon, as well as some really scenic routes and driving and a waterfall. How are we going to fit all this in?
I don't know if we will. This could be a disaster of an episode. It could go great. Either way, it should be entertaining. So stick around. So this episode covers about 4 to 5 days, around 300 miles. This comes after the week that we spent in Moab in some of our previous episodes, and we did cheat. We've done one episode covering some of this journey where we stopped at Little Wild Horse Canyon and enjoyed the Slot Canyon hike there, and Holly made friends with a rattlesnake. If you haven't seen that one, I suggest you go back and watch it. But in this episode, first on to Capitol Reef National Park.
This is the number 3 of the Big 5 parks in Utah. This park was a little underwhelming, but I think, to be fair, a part of the park was closed, and that included the scenic drive. So we really didn't get to see the whole park. And we did have a really great time there. We started off with a great hike. We had quite a bit of elevation, gave us a great view of the valley, and was super scenic.
And so the lush green valley, it used to be a Mormon settlement actually before it became a national park, and they grew fruit trees there, and there are still fruit trees there, but they're now protected by about 10-foot fences. And we soon learned why. It's because of all the deer that wander through the valley, including wandered right through our campsite both nights that we were there. But a really nice stop. One of the unique aspects of staying here is just adjacent to the campground, there's a little store that if you get there in time, before about lunchtime, you can actually still pick up fresh fruit pies. So that's immediately what we did when we get back from our hike and started our lunch with those. Another unique aspect, we went for a little hike that evening after we'd gotten back and discovered they had some horses stabled there just adjacent to the campground. They immediately recognized Holly as being from friendly Manitoba and came over to say hello.
Leaving Capitol Reef, we stopped along the way to Bryce Canyon at near the small town of Escalante for a really neat hike that hiked out to a waterfall, which is pretty unique for being in kind of desert area. It was really pretty. It was not too long of a hike. Nice kind of split up the drive kind of hike.
It felt like we just hadn't seen water in a long time. We'd spent so many weeks in the desert and then the red sand near Moab, the red rocks. So it was a nice stop. We also enjoyed the drive there. We rode along Route 12, which was a recommendation from our friend Guy in Ottawa. Thanks for that, Guy. It started out as just a big climb. I was like, okay, this is kind of neat. Then towards the end, got to this real knife edge, which was the real highlight of driving along that. So a fun ride as well. Woo! This is what I was looking for. Oh my God.
I'm glad I'm not driving.
Holy crap.
Oh my God, how did they make this highway?
True.
And this is going to be 14% grade.
All right.
About mid-afternoon, we rolled into Bryce Canyon. It was still, the campgrounds are still at first come, first serve. Reservations started a couple days later. Bryce is at higher elevation, so not as popular in the earlier spring. However, we got the last RV spot available, so we got really lucky on that and had a great spot for our stay in Bryce. Bryce is really known for the Hoodoos, which are these cool rock formations caused by erosion. And they kind of have one big main area that's, well, they have a lot of area, but one of the main areas and attractions is the amphitheater where you can see a lot of the Hoodoos. And so we did one main hike down into the amphitheater and we did a lot of the different areas down there.
And that was one of our biggest hikes, probably close to 4 hours on that one. But it didn't feel like it because thankfully about 45 minutes in, we befriended a couple other hikers, Alistair and Marie from Yorkshire, and just chatted each other's ears off for the next couple hours. And it really made the miles fly by. So we had a great time hiking with them and really great views down in among the Hoodoos. That was a good one.
We really enjoyed these last couple stops. The 2 parks were great. The hike was really nice, super scenic, and we've been really lucky with the weather. We've had great weather throughout.
Now, pro tip for this episode, we've been hitting quite a few national parks at this point, and to get into those for the day, it can be upwards of $30, $35 just for your pass to enter into the park. And what we discovered while we were planning our trip months ago was called the America the Beautiful Pass. And for this, we paid just $80, and that's an annual pass. It gets you that entrance fee covered for all the national parks, national historic sites, and national monuments, which is a ton of attractions. And so this pass really pays for itself within about 3 parks. So if you're thinking of doing a big adventure like we did, strongly recommend the America the Beautiful Pass. You can pick that up on the Park Service website. That's your pro tip for this time around. Well, hey, I think we did it. We covered 2 national parks, a waterfall hike, scenic drives, even threw in some pro tips about this. Well done to us. Now, what's coming up next?
Next up, we'll get to use that pass a little bit more. We have 2 big iconic parks, Zion National Park and Grand Canyon. In Zion, we do a crazy, crazy hike. It's really cool, so stay tuned for that.
We've got some excellent GoPro footage that it's going to have you hanging onto the edge of your seat, definitely. Before we get to that, we're also headed to Hurricane, Utah, probably the most fun I have ever had on a bicycle, and that's in 40-some years of biking. So make sure you stick around for that one as well. You all right there?
Just like it's going to my shirt.
All right, thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you next time.